r/ask Reddit by Redmond Dts. Anesthesiologists of Reddit. What was something you won't forget hearing from someone that was under? My husband was put under to get his wisdom teeth out. He was a little anxious and also is just kind of anal. He's an engineer, so he read his pre-op instructions front to back like a dozen times. One of the things it said was, "You may experience profound disorientation upon awakening." As he woke up, he opened one eye and looked around the room, then said extremely huffily, "I wouldn't call this profound." Then he started crying. I was giving a young female patient sedation for a routine colonoscopy, and as I pushed the propofol, sleepy medicine, it started to hit her. She sat straight up and yelled to everyone in the procedure room, "I shaved my asshole for you." And she flopped down on her pillow and she was asleep. I was coming out of the fog of anesthesia from a colonoscopy. Apparently I didn't recognize my wife and refused her affections, telling her she was pretty, but I was married. Got big brownie points for that. My dad asked my mom to pick up his butt cheek so he could fart and it was too heavy. My husband had his ACL and meniscus repaired. When they brought him back into the room, he stared at me through half-closed eyes until the nurses left and then said, "I love you. I'm glad you're here." I melted. Then he conked back out for about half an hour and woke up with a big gasp. I thought he was in pain. That's how loud it was, and went, "Burger King burger." I said, "You want a Burger King burger?" He said, "I do." So I had to get him a Burger King burger for dinner. He doesn't remember anything until he was back home several hours later with Burger King sitting in front of him. Lol. Nurse here, was 22 female. Had a teen boy come out of anesthesia who looked at me and said, "Hey, you're the girl from last night." I had to reassure everyone that that wasn't me. I had a surgery to remove bone spurs from my big toes in early February of 2005. I woke up while the doctor was grinding the bone down and asked if he thought Donovan McNabb could lead the Eagles to a Super Bowl win. He nodded at the anesthesiologist and I don't remember anything after that. My dad woke up during a hernia operation. Apparently he was like, "Hey, what's going on?" The doctor freaked out and they put him back under. He still remembers what it looked like to see himself opened up. I gave a patient an IV dose of ketamine for a pain procedure. He proceeded to tell the room that everyone had turned into cartoon characters and then he announced he was melting into a wall of butter. Still my finest achievement as a physician. My wife was all doped up during her C-section and asked the anesthesiologist, "Did they cut me open yet?" He calmly told her they did. To which she replied, "Oh shit," with a huge grin on her face. The doctor and I lost it. Edit. Wow, this blew up overnight. Thanks for all the awards and stories. I'm scrolling through everything laughing my ass off. You all are the best. One of my patients coming out of sedation embarrassed her husband who was in the room by saying that during their sex he likes to have Vicks rubbed on his backside. Kind of on topic. When my mom woke up after having a stroke, the doctor asked if she recognized the people in the room. She got my sister's name right, called me my brother's name, and smiled real big at my stepdad and called him asshole. Apparently when I was going under I told the anesthesiologist, "Don't mess this up, I know where you work." I woke up singing the Magic School Bus theme song while someone 3 beds away was screaming in agony. I was told after surgery I said I love dogs and I want to eat the Taliban. A little girl was going under and she was holding her mother's hand. She reached out for my hand with her other and as she was going out she joined mine with her mother's and said, "You would be a nice daddy." I probably went beetroot red as I blushed. I ask a patient after surgery how he feels. He opens his eyes, stares me dead on and says, "With my fingers." Then he goes right back to sleep. My husband woke up from anesthesia after a colonoscopy just after the doctor walked in. He didn't see the doctor and then told me, "No blowjob for you," then fell back asleep and ripped a big fart. The doctor looked at me and busted out laughing. He said not to be embarrassed. People say the weirdest things but this one he'd remember. I'm an anesthetist. Woke up a 70-year-old patient who got a penile prosthesis implant for erectile dysfunction. First thing out of his mouth in his post-surgery stupor was to request a private room and find out when he could take this baby out for a test drive. He was a happily married jokester. A girl woke up and asked if she had been hit by a train. And then when asked if she knew why she was there, she looked down and patted her chest and said implants. She was having her ACL repaired and her mom was there. It was me. I was 19. I've never lived it down. I'm an anesthesiologist. The best story was a 40-some-year-old woman for appendectomy, said while I'm giving the propofol to induce anesthesia. She said, "Oh, I don't remember it tasting like that before." I said, "What does it taste like?" Since propofol doesn't usually elicit a taste reaction. She almost yelled "these nuts" and was promptly under anesthesia thereafter. There have been other stories, but this one has the entire OR staff rolling laughing 4 minutes after she was under. My husband had to undergo a colonoscopy, and when he came around he started aggressively grilling the staff about Abraham Lincoln. He isn't a historian or anything. He works as a business analyst and knows next to nothing about Abraham Lincoln. Bonus story. One time he took Ambien and got super messed up. Initially told me that he couldn't walk up the stairs to bed because he was a transformer and his legs had turned to wheels. Finally got him upstairs and he made the observation that if peach trees could sing to each other like whales it would be beautiful. I bet they would sing Adele. Then he burst into tears. When coming out of it I was really angry. My fiance was trying to steal my ice cream. I didn't have any ice cream, but I was convinced he was trying to steal it. When coming to after surgery, I told my mother-in-law that she was naughty and needed a spanking. Post-anesthetic care unit nurse here. I get everyone from OT come my way, so I have a few good ones. A teen around 14 years old wakes up to the world on a mix of ket, fentanyl and propofol. First thing he does is look at me and says, "Yo, I'm alive?" I replied, "I sure hope you are, or I'm in the wrong job, mate." To which he then proceeded to dap me up and everyone around him. He then goes on to try and smoke up his blood pressure cuff by rolling it like a joint. A colleague of mine was looking after a 21-year-old male from the military who had some form of renal stenting. To which you get a camera snaked up your old fella if you're a man. Anyway, my colleague in their lack of thinking leaves their phone by the bedside while this man uses a urinal bottle. This man proceeds to take about 10 plus selfies of him starkers with his meat and 2 veg on full view on my colleague's phone. The best part was they didn't find the photos till 2 hours later. A 4-year child comes into the OT to be inducted for a broken arm. The anesthetist decides to use sevoflurane, sleepy gas, to put the kid to sleep. After one breath the kid turns to us and goes, "Ah, so this is what mummy's special juice is like." To which he then promptly blacks out, with all of us in hysterics, and mum, who was there in OT for induction, red-faced. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.